Celtics got blown out at Milwaukee, where the Bucks had lost 4 in a row, lost Giannis during the third quarter. Then last night, the Celtics got blown out at home by the Knicks. But Celtics head coach Joe Mazzulla didn't mind it at all. Check this out.
I actually don't mind the result of the last 2 games because I think that's important. Like, going in with a bunch of wins and feeling good about yourself isn't any better than, having a little bit of a bloody lip.
Bloody lip. Okay.
I agree.
Celtics have clinched. They have nothing to play for except pride and maintaining some momentum. But, Paul, doesn't this concern you even a teeny tiny bit? Tiny bit? Like a 0.1% bit?
All right, 0.1%, I'll give you that. I mean, how can they be motivated? Listen, mission accomplished. Part A, win the regular season, get the best record, home court throughout the playoffs. These meaningless games, I was shocked that they even played last night. But I get it.
The starters played.
Yeah, I played that the starters played last night. But I get it. When I look at down the line, next week, they're going to have a week off. So it's like if you don't play them today, which was Thursday, and then you don't play them again or on Sunday, that'll be like almost 10 days of being off.
Yep.
And so just to get them out there, getting up and down the court, to keep them sharp. Obviously, they're not playing for anything at stake. But on the flip side, it'll be tragic if somebody got hurt. I'm talking about as little as just a jam toe or a sprained ankle. So there's a fine line because I can see both sides. Coach, like, I want to keep them sharp. I want to keep them running.
Yep.
And on the flip side, you don't want nobody to get hurt. But then you look like, we're going to have a whole week off next week anyway. So is there any concern? No, because like I said, mission 1 accomplished. We got the best record throughout the playoffs. And now, what I would say, I would be concerned if this happened in a playoff game.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, we lost by 20, 30 points, 29 points. Yeah, it's just hard for them to get motivated now because it's like these are meaningless games for them. And, you don't want that to creep in, the spirit of competition to creep in and say, it means nothing. But sometimes that's human nature, Skip. And we all know that. You're like, let's just get ready for the playoffs. Your mind is already in the playoffs, and I've been in this situation before where, usually you'll sit the last couple of games, but when your mind is already set on the playoffs, when this game, doesn't matter if you win or lose, that's why I have no concern.
Okay. None for you either?
No, I could do is shake my head at Paul, because Paul know better than this. First of all, you don't play the starters. And if you play them, you stagger them. They shouldn't be playing 25-plus minutes. Then on the flip side of things, as you know, Paul, okay, it doesn't matter. You're 15 games up, 14, 15 games up. Doesn't matter. You're number 1 seed. You're chilling. No problem at all. But that has nothing to do with going 1 for 7 for 3, 1 for 4 from 3. That has nothing. What do you just go catch the ball? You're not really trying? You say you want to stay sharp.
Yeah.
If you want to stay sharp, you shouldn't be shooting 38% from 3. If you want to stay sharp, that's how I look at it.
Motivation. It's like,
yeah, but if you out on the court and your craft is, I'm gonna knock down this 3, you're not gonna go 1 for 7. You're not gonna go 1 for 5, 0 for 3, 1 for 4.
Like, if you're just not all into it, I wasn't like that. If you're just not all into it, they probably let me tell you what they probably did. They probably woke up thinking, like, we probably not going to play tonight. And then when they're like, we need y'all to suit up the starters. Let's play. We're going to turn this into a glorified practice. And that's what you like to call it because it's like, all right, we're going to run through some plays and see if some of these work, but we're going to look at this like a glorified practice. And I'm sure what's on the back of the player's mind is, I don't want to get hurt today.
So you got the Knicks, I
don't want to get hurt.
The Knicks just beat you.
No, the Knicks, yep.
Prior to that, who was it?
Milwaukee.
So Milwaukee beat. So you lost to the Knicks. You lost to Milwaukee, then the Knicks.
Yeah.
You got 2 games left on the season. You gonna approach it the same way. So you getting ready to roll into the playoffs. Let's assume they roll into the playoffs, Skip. Hadn't dropped their last 4 games. Now you got 10 days off. So you didn't get no work in those 4 games that made sense at all because you didn't play worth the snuff. You dropped those 4. Now you got 10 days of
But you're talking about a small sample size, Key, when we done went through the course of 82 games.
But you
built
ended
great
on
habits.
But you ended on a bad note.
Yeah, but we built great habits that we know we can get back to. But
so you think they can get back to that on a bad note?
Yeah,
ending on a bad note?
Because right now I'm telling you, and I promise you, they're like, we want to get to the playoffs healthy. Really, why are we playing these games? If someone gets hurt, it impacts everything.
So why are they out there? Why are they on the court? Why are you going to put them on the court if you want to keep them healthy? You don't put them on the court,
You want to keep them healthy, but at the same time, you don't want them to just be sitting around. And like I said, look how many days before the playoffs even start for them. You got next week, you got all playing games. So you've earned the right to just sit and just go to practice, lift weights, get some shots up. But at the same time, if you sat yesterday, which would have been Thursday, let's say they don't play again until next Sunday. That's a long stretch.
Based on the way you played,
you haven't done that. You haven't done that all year long. You haven't done that all year long. A 10-day stretch of not playing.
But PP, based on the way they've been playing, they should have been sitting. If that's the case,
I agree with you.
They should be sitting. If they're gonna play this way, you're limping into the playoffs.
But you heard, Coach.
Nobody's hurt, though.
Nobody's hurt.
But you're
psychologically
limping into the playoffs.
I'm sure they're not psychologically limping in, talking about, oh, are we worried about the Knicks? Are we worried about Milwaukee, who they've owned?
Man, I hope they get smashed in the first round. Because
By who?
Whoever they play. I hope it's a disaster. Because I'm trying to explain to you that you're looking like you're getting ready to go 0-4 down the stretch, Skip, and you got a 10-day layoff.
What is that? What does that say? A 15-game, 13-game lead on everybody.
Okay. All right. Oh, I hope y'all, man, I hope that little Lucky Charm dude or whatever y'all call that little guy, I hope he got some magic for y'all. Because if y'all lose,
so the 82-game season don't matter what we built, the habits we built, and it all comes down to these last 4 games that we're coasting and meaningless games.
But you out on the floor.
Come on,
champions get out on the floor. Champions that get out on the floor, and you know this because you was a champion. You played in championship games. You won a world championship title.
So what would be the difference if, they played and got blowed out, or they sat for the last 3 games?
The difference is
they still lost.
But the difference is, Coach, you put us on the court. If you put me on the court, I'm not going 1 of 7. When I'm on the court, I'm taking that serious. Paul, you played.
They settling for jump shots. You see, they didn't even get to the free throw line. They didn't get to the free throw line versus Milwaukee, which was the game before. Because let's say I drive the ball, turn my ankle with 3 games left.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. You can tell.
They got to the free throw line 16 times last night as a team.
Yeah, but when you go to the free throw line 0 times, which tells me you're not attacking.
Into it. No.
You're not into it. Period.
But they went last night. They was into it. Because their numbers show, they suggest.
16 free throws, they're not really into it.
All right, you play the NBA, I'm going to reserve my right till 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now when you're looking at me and going, damn, Key. I didn't think that was going to happen.
So both of you make one good point.
Good point.
Yeah, and the one good point you're making is that you need to play the starters some. Because, to Paul's point, you can't have your starters not play basketball for 10 or 12 days. It could even be 12 days. It's just too long. Because the risk of that is you're going to blow game 1 at home in the first round of the playoffs.
I understand.
Okay.
You don't want them sitting around for 3 weeks. I got it.
Okay, so the strategy clearly was we're going to play you guys against the 2 good teams left on our schedule. We're going to have a real live practice here because these teams are going to be coming at you. And we're going to play you 30 minutes a game for these 2 games. And yet the starters said, okay, we'll do that, but they didn't actually do that. They just walked out there and they weren't into either game because they trailed Milwaukee by as many as 24. And last night at home, they trailed the Knicks by as many as 31 points. That's embarrassing because now, to your point, there's pride involved of if you're that team and you've got those dudes there, you walk on the floor, you just say, we will do this. We're going to give you 30 good minutes.
For the first 2.5 quarters, I'm going to give you what I'm going to give you. And let's say, for instance, for the first 2.5 quarters, we playing like we need to play, and we're down by 6 or we're up by 7, and now we're done. If y'all want to lose by 30, we could.
Yeah.
But you didn't give me none of that. I could have just stayed at home.
Right.
And, Keyshawn, to your point, Jason Tatum goes 1 of 7 from 3. You're a three-point shooting team, and so you're leaving a bad taste in your mouth because it's very possible. They got 2 gimmies left at home against Charlotte and Washington. And those teams are home for the holidays, man. They're done. They're out.
Cancun.
1, 2, 3. We're Aruba or whatever you want to do it. 1, 2, 3. Cabo. Is that what you want? Okay, fine.
A couple of them already there.
Okay. So again, you don't even like it's beneath your starter's dignity to even play in these 2 games. And I'm pretty sure the game plan was you're not going to play in these last 2 games, right? Because then it's just a week away from the playoffs starting. So you'll be fine to rest up.
Yeah.
But the point is, they walked on the floor and got embarrassed twice in a row. And even Jaylen Brown last night, he was 1 of 5 from 3. And the starting lineup, I just did the math here, went 5 of 24 from 3. It's obviously, look, nobody in the regular season took more three-point shots than the Boston Celtics.
Right, correct.
And I picked the Celtics before the season started, and I will stand by that. But it troubles me that they turned into the most three-point shooting team in the league because, as you well know, the three-point shot is a fickle mistress. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. And it's there for you sometimes, and then for reasons you cannot explain, it just goes away. And if everybody contagiously goes away some night from 3, you're going to lose the game because you do live and die on your three-point shots. And to your credit, in the regular season, you were 3rd in the NBA in three-point shooting percentage.
Yes.
Okay, so if you're going to make 38.3% for the whole 82-game run and you're taking the most, guess what? You're going to be the best team in your conference by far. Right. And they were. And they had 3 games this year in which they beat teams by more than 50 points. Because if the threes are falling, it's just way bye-bye, like bye-bye in the first quarter. So they beat Golden State by 52. They beat Indiana by 51. They beat the Nets by 50 because they shot them out of the gym in the first quarter and they never let up. So they're highly capable of doing that. And I'm going to give you credit because in offensive efficiency, they finished number 1 in the NBA. And in defensive efficiency, 3rd. No, it's 3rd.
Oh, they dropped to 3rd? Okay.
But it's still, I'll take that.
Yeah.
And in rebound rate, they're 4th.
That was one weakness, Skip, the year they lost to Golden State. And they cleaned that up.
They cleaned it up. Okay, those 3 numbers I just gave you should add up to championship. Really, that's what that should mean. Those are championship numbers.
Can't argue it.
Okay. Now we get down to, and I know this is difficult for you to talk about because you love these 2 young men. They're still very young men, but it just comes down to your 2 best players.
Absolutely.
This is those 2 guys. They're it, man. It's JT and JB, and you got to come. You got to bring it and bring it and bring it. And maybe one of you will have a little off night from 3, but you can't have an off team night from 3 or you're going to lose because that's the recipe for your disaster because you're built on that.
Right.
Okay, so Mazzulla says, I like having a bloody lip, like he wants them a little bit angry over how they played or didn't play against Milwaukee and then last night against the Knicks.
They'll watch film today for sure.
They will watch film. Okay, I'll give him that. That's fine. And I assume you like the way. I think Joe Mazzulla's done a nice job this year of sort of figuring it out.
Yeah.
He's been better with the media. He was like fighting with the media all last year. And now he's kind of made peace with them a little bit more. And it felt like he was more in command this year. Is that fair? Like in control?
I agree.
Like he grew up in the job. He's only 35 years old.
Yeah.
Can you explain how they lost to the Lakers without LeBron and AD? Can you explain that to me?
I mean, things happen throughout the course of an 82-game season. I mean, we lost, the year we won, we lost to Toronto. And Toronto wasn't even a playoff team. So, sometimes stuff happens, Key. I mean, y'all, you know that.
I'm just asking, man. I'm just asking.
The year you won in Tampa Bay, y'all probably lost somebody shouldn't have lost to. I mean,
absolutely.
You know what happened in that game.
Yeah.
The Lakers did a Celtics on the Celtics because they're just bombing threes, and Austin Reeves, as you said, turned into Larry Bird, right?
Right.
He
so
did.
I don't have no concern because as you see throughout the course of the 82-game season, number 1 in offensive efficiency, best three-point team in the league, number 3 in defensive efficiency. These are championship numbers.
They are.
And throughout the course of the 82-game season, you built these habits. These habits just don't go away. And so I expect them to carry those habits into the playoffs.
What if you develop new habits at the end of the season?
No, I think we got veteran leadership.
Okay.
We got experience now,
Okay.
and we've been heartbroken.
Okay.
Yep.
Those are things that
That's called scar tissue. That's what that is.
so-
Yeah.
So when they not out on the West Coast for the NBA Finals playing in the games rather than watching, are you going to be heartbroken?
who's going to be there? Who you got?
I'm just asking you.
I'm just saying, who you got?
I'm just asking a question that if they,
I
based
will be
on all
heartbroken.
the stuff that you
know
just
what?
laid out there
I
for
will
me,
be heartbroken.
you laid all this stuff out there
Yeah.
for me about Boston and their numbers
I
and their
will
number one
be
in this division, 3
heartbroken.
in that one, defensive. Oh, you gave me all that. And if
Yeah.
for some weird reason they're not in Phoenix,
be
LA,
heartbroken.
Golden State,
Hey,
Dallas,
listen,
Denver.
I believe green. You know this. I believe green. I'll be heartbroken. They should be there. In a 7-game series, who in the East can beat the Celtics 4 times?
The Sixers
It's
looking
only
good with
one
Embiid.
team that beat them. That beat them.
But Embiid
Right,
looking
that's
cool,
undefeated.
though. They looking cool with Embiid. I'm just saying, they getting a little bit better.
They got to worry about making the playoffs.
Well,
Yeah.
don't
You
worry
talking
all
about
that.
today? You talked about 3 teams
Don't
that's
worry about
not
all
even
that.
in the playoffs: Phoenix, Lakers, and Embiid.
And don't worry about that, though.
But
We might be next week coming here. We're not even talking about
Maybe,
them.
but your biggest threat is Philadelphia. It just is, because that's a good team. If he's right, then they're. Yeah. You just want some more
Why
coffee?
are you looking at?
I'm looking at you because I'm listening to Skip. I want to see your reaction.
Look at this. Look at this.
I don't care. You keep showing me the conference
The
standings.
7th spot.
We understand where they at. We get it. A large part of that is because Embiid missed a large majority of the season.
I'll give you this. The biggest threat in the East is probably the Miami Heat. Or the Knicks.
Really?
I saw Miami play Milwaukee.
The Knicks got a
Denver
pass.
the other night.
The Knicks got a
Dallas
pass,
the other night. I didn't like that.
Well, Jimmy hadn't turned on playoff Jimmy yet. I don't know.
I didn't like
I
the way
mean,
Miami looked.
that's always a threat.
All right, I'm going to give you 2 last
So now-
positive
now
points for your Celtics.
Uh-huh.
You added 2 players this year, one of whom I love, and Drew Holiday, because
Yep.
he gives you defensive tenacity and leadership that maybe you didn't have, and he's been there and done all that at the highest level. He's in his 15th year, so maybe he's not in the heart of his prime anymore. But
We don't need him to be.
you
though.
don't. But he's still that guy.
Yeah.
And then I'm not the biggest Porzingis fan. I don't know how tough he is, but listen, he can do a lot of things on the basketball court because he's, what is he, 7'2" or whatever he is, and he shot 38% from 3 this year. That's ridiculous for his height.